Hey guys, the Commander Casual here. I am playing my Mazirek Crawl Death Priest Pod-Harmonicon deck. That's the deck's all about using Birthing Pod and Panharmonicon. We mulliganed into this hand. I was super happy about it. We just drew the Apprentice Necromancer. Uh, I think I'm gonna turn 2 Demonic Tutor, grab our Birthing Pod, play Birthing Pod turn 3, and then turn 4 we'll play the Elvish Visionary, draw a card off that, and then we'll sack the Elvish Visionary to the pod and try and get something else from that. That sounds like a pretty good start to me. Here, I'll try and. I feel like my voice is probably a little quiet, so I'm going to adjust my mic. There we go. That's probably better. We're playing against an Edric Spymaster of Trest deck. This deck is just about always a bunch of like little dudes that are hard to block and stuff like that. So whether they have flying or unblockable or whatever. And they kind of poke in at people and draw tons of cards, and then they usually have some kind of interesting win condition, or it's kind of just like a politics control style deck. So we'll see. But it's looking like it does run a ton of the little dudes, which is the pretty basic Edric strategy. Draw an Hour of Promise, that's awesome. So we can get a Cabal Coffers and an Urborg with that. So we're going to Demonic Tutor. So we're up against an Admiral Becket Brass as well, which I'm sure is Pirate Tribal. If not, it might be some kind of interesting uh, deck that runs like Conspiracy and Arcane Adaptation and Xenograph that turns everything into pirates to use this Admiral Becket Brass ability. My buddy built a pirate deck in paper, and it's really cool. And I'm super excited for it to get. It's not super strong, but it's really fun. I'm super excited for it to get buffed up with more pirates when Rivals of Ixalan comes out, because the set's been spoiled and there's a lot of really cool looking cards in it. And then this last deck is a Nekusar, the Mind Razor deck. So Nekusar Mind Razor decks are very common, and they're just about always like group draw and group discard kind of decks. So they run lots of wheel effects and stuff like that to try and get us to draw lots of cards and take lots of damage from Nekusar and a bunch of other stuff. We're just loading hard here. I'm not sure why I'm struggling to load, but we're gonna get our pod, but I want to look at stuff. No, no, no. I mean, like, there's lots of good cards in here that would be good choices, but we're not gonna grab another tutor. Or a land, probably, because we've got lots. Yeah, we'll grab the pod. And then turn 3, we'll take 2 to play the pod on turn 3. And then we will, turn 4, play the Elvish Visionary and sack the Elvish Visionary to the pod. If any of you watching this deck are ever like, why don't you sacrifice things to pod at instant speed? It's because you can't. For those of you that don't know, that last line of text on Birthing Pod says, activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery. Because if not, Birthing Pod would be even more nuts than it already is. I don't think it's nuts. I think it's just a really good card. But, I mean, if anybody who was watching this was around and played Modern when pod decks were a thing, you know how good this card is. I mean, I didn't. I don't really play Modern, honestly. I like to watch a lot of Modern, but I don't play it. So he played a Scrib Ranger. Untap target creature, activate that only once. Flying, protection from blue, and flash. Yeah. So he's just got a lot of little. There's going to be a lot of flyers, a lot of 1/1 dudes that have some kind of like combat-based evasion kind of thing. And by that I mean like they have flying, or they have horsemanship, or they're just straight up unblockable, or something like that. So I keep adjusting my mic because I'm checking my audio levels and seeing that sometimes they're kind of high. But I want you guys to be able to hear me without having to crank the volume on your computer. So. Okay, so this Becket Brass player is just going to play another land. He's got black and red, that's for sure. This, oh, sorry, I should close this. This Nekusar player takes a little bit of time with his plays, but that's okay. The host of this game only put us on. Oh, haha, he can't F8 anymore because of this. um, sorry, what was I saying? The host had this on 25-minute games, which I didn't see originally. Usually I go for 40-minute games. Sometimes if I'm in a rush, sorry, and I have like things I need to do later in the day, I'll host like a 25-minute game, just because that's still almost like if everybody uses up their game clock, that's still like almost 2 hours, which is a long time. But if I have a commitment, I'll usually cut it down because games very rarely, even with 40-minute game clocks, take that long. We drew a Rayon. I'd love to draw one more land just to make sure we can Hour of Promise. But we'll get to an extra draw off the Elvish Visionary, which is nice. Have that. There we go. We're going to cast this. Click on ourselves to pay 2 life for the Phyrexian symbol. And then pay the other 3. I just really hope this doesn't get destroyed. We're playing against a green deck and 2 red decks. So there's going to be lots of artifact destruction. I should say, I hope it doesn't get destroyed before last turn. Before our next turn is what I meant. Because I want to be able to use it at least once. Otherwise, my Demonic Tutor and Pod will be a waste. I mean, hopefully I can get it back later with something, but we do have some graveyard recursion. This is only for creatures, but it's more just because it's 2 extra sacrifice triggers. I also had like very few 2-drops slots for the pod, just in case I was sacking a 1-drop into it. So I was like, oh, I need another 2-drop, and then I checked out Apprentice Necromancer, and I was like, oh wait, I already had this card because it's a zombie, and I thought about putting it in my zombie deck, but I cut it. But yeah, it sacks itself. With Mazirek, will give all my creatures a counter, and then whatever he brings back with it gets sacked at the end step as well, which will give everything a counter as well. So, Growing Rites of Itlamok. What's he gonna grab? Oh, come on. There we go. Sorry, my computer's struggling with this. Jace's Phantasm. That's a pretty good card. Pretty good. Definitely makes its way into a Edric deck. I think it'd be fun to do like an Edric Flyers deck. I know there's not like I actually have a flying tribal deck in paper, which is really fun. But it runs the two partner commanders that have flying, which is Crom Ludovic's Opus and Ravos Soultender, which is a little awkward because they're both 5-drops, but and then it runs most of the tribal effects that help you out are in blue, but there's like a really cool, it's Mudslide or Landslide. It's a red enchantment, and it's like creatures without flying don't untap unless their opponent unless their controller pays like 2 neutral mana for them or something like that. And then I'm running like Gravitational Shift, which gives creatures with flying +2/+0, and creatures without flying -2/-0. And then I'm running Thunderclap Wyvern, which gives all flyers +1/+1. Favorable Winds, which gives flyers all +1/+1. Anyway, it's a really fun deck. Yay! We made it. I think. This guy still has mana up, so. Don't counter. Don't. If he counters this, I'm going to be super upset. Okay, sweet. We get to draw an extra card, which is a land, so next turn we can Hour of Promise. Or Mazirek, I guess. We're just going to pay those. And sacrifice this. We get a 3-drop. Oh, do we want to ramp even more? Could grab like a... Oh, we could grab a Witness and go get our Panharmonicon with the Demonic Tutor. Tough call. Kind of like the idea of ramping too, though. This also should be dealt with at some point. I'll leave the Reclamation stage because we can also always go get it with a Woodland Bellower. But I think I'm going to grab Wood Elves and grab a Forest. I know the Eternal Witness on Demonic Tutor is really good, and then get a Panharmonicon and do our thing. But I think we'll be gaining a little bit too much mass too quickly by doing that, and then we'll get targeted really hard. So I'm just gonna play it safe for now. Sorry if that's disappointing, but that's what I want to do. could play a Germination next turn and sack the elves. I don't know, maybe we just Hour of Promise next turn and go get a Cabal Coffers and Urborg. We can do that and pod the elves. I like that. Yep. Cloudfin Raptor evolves again. Then we probably get attacked. If we have the option, we'll attack this guy or someone first. Before we sack the elves to the pod. Because then we'll get to draw an extra card from Edric. Edric's cool because he's kind of like, his ability inherently inspires politics and like going for other people. Is this if a player or an opponent? Opponent, okay. Man, Edric's so good. Yeah, and then Itlamok flips. We can work our way up to like an acidic slime or something to blow up this Itlamok. I don't know, maybe I should have gotten the Rex stage last turn. We'll see. So now it's Pirate Guy's turn. Yeah, so he didn't get any bonus off the raid trigger here for this guy either, so he just paid 3 for 2/2. That's what I mean about the pirate deck, is like, there are some good pirates for sure, but some of the cards like are just not that good condition-wise. You may be saying like, oh, Elvish Visionary is not that good, but keep in mind the deck that it's running. Like, the idea is that we get an extra, can get an extra draw off of Panharmonicon if we have it out. It fills a 2-drop slot, and having a good distribution of like creatures and different mana costs is always good in a pod deck. And then it's also like it's a really good sack target without just 0 value. So it has its reasons for being in here. I'm also like, me myself, I'm not a huge fan of Elvish Visionary. I see it in a lot of decks that I don't think it has any business being in. But ooh, I guess he gets to draw a card regardless. So Rage Against the Machine. Sorry, there's a fly in front of me that I was blowing at. I don't know if that sounded horrendous on my mic. I really like the art on this card. Specifically got this one over the other one because of the art. He's gonna ponder. This is kind of, it's, I guess it's only like turn 4, but I don't know why this game feels slow. Everybody's just taking their time with their game clocks. Whatever, it'll be a quicker game regardless because of the slower game clock, or the shorter game clocks, I should say. I love the art on this card just because there's like so much emphasis on the background art. Did he just board wipe us? Anger of the Gods. Okay. No! We wanted to sack that next turn. What a jerkbag. Okay, we'll just play the Myriad Landscape and Hour of Promise. I mean, that was still a good idea because now this Itlamok is not nearly as scary, and this guy can't draw a whole bunch more cards. This guy can't draw a card. And, yeah. So I'm mostly okay with it. Gonna grab a Cabal Coffers. I don't think enough people run Hour of Promise. This card's ridiculous. If you're running a green and black deck, or rather if I'm running a green and black deck, I always do. Where's my Urborg? There it is. I was like, I was like, there's no way there isn't an Urborg in here. I've played it before. There you go. Yeah, I think that Hour of Promise doesn't see enough play. And it's so good in any multicolored green deck because it lets you get non-basic lands. Or in any deck, rather, that has green in it. Because you could get, like, if somebody else had, like, an Urborg or a Cabal Coffers or an Itlamok, you could go get a wasteland and something else. Like you pay one extra mana. Like I'm completely ignoring the making zombies for deserts thing, but that's just a side benefit if for whatever reason you are running a bunch of deserts. But I don't know. I don't know why it doesn't see more play because it's like you pay one more than an explosive vegetation, but instead of getting two basics, you get two non-basic, or you can get two lands in general. So it just seems too good to me because lands are so important, and I usually run like a fairly budget mana base too, and I think it's really important. So I don't know. That's just me. I mean, I've given these guys a ton of access to black now, which isn't super ideal, but I'm okay with it because now I get way more mana. Because if I tap this Cabal Coffers, it'll take 2 to tap, but then I'll generate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 black mana for 3 lands, and then I have another 5, so 13. Sorry, yeah, 13. The Higher Fleet Interloper. Fleet Interloper enters the battlefield, explores. Now, what did he reveal? A swamp? Yeah. Them Hour of Devastation swamps. I joined when Return to Zendikar was a thing, so I joined MTGO, I mean, so I have all these portrait lands. Sorry, I guess they're technically called full art lands, but my brother and I have always referred to them as portrait lands. Is he gonna play Nekusar? Nope. Oh, uh, somebody tapped wrong. Oh, I just didn't like their choice. Maybe they didn't tap the signet right. The signets can be kind of an annoying interaction. I love we're running a ton of like lands in here that might not seem that good that have sack effects. I mean, Myriad Landscape I do think is a good land, but the reason that we're running them is just because they have sack effects. So it triggers Mazirek because it's a permanent. Whenever permanent's sacked, we get counters. So we're gonna have a ton of mana next turn. It's gonna be ridiculous. Could play a Bellower and either Mazirek, Germination, or Rayon because that's all the green we have. Okay. Like, don't bog me. No. I mean, we don't have a lot in our graveyard. Sweet. But did he actually bog the guy with no graveyard? That's weird. He had like every... Because all of our stuff that got killed got exiled from the Anger of the Gods. A Weaving attacked? You butthead. That's okay. We have an Urborg and a Cabal Coffers. I'm not hugely surprised. So we'll play our Warped Landscape. Yeah, we're going to activate our Cabal Coffers. This gives us 9 now because we have a Warped Landscape out. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I think we should start getting Mazirek out to start benefiting off the sack. So we've got 10 mana left. We could Rayon, Germination, and Reaper. I like that. I left those untapped. Normally I would have tapped the colorless mana to activate the Cabal Coffers, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to sack them yet or not. but we're gonna set up first. So we'll play Rayon. And then we'll play the Germination. And then we'll Slum Reaper, which will make these guys all sack stuff and put counters on these guys and give us a dude as well. Yeah, we'll sack the Reaper. Slum Reaper is just like a 4-drop Fleshbag Marauder or Merciless Executioner. That's why it's in here, because we're also running Merciless Executioner and Fleshbag Marauder. Except he's a 4-2 instead of a 3-1 like both of they are. I guess I want to put these in the stack first. Yeah, so I can get the token, and then the token gets the counters. There we go. Boom. Board state. Booyah. That's what Mazirek does, because he's kind of ridiculous sometimes. I think in the actual Commander product, he was printed as a Mythic. But he might have been a rare. I don't know. He's cool, though. I really like him. I just love that it's not creature sacrifice. It makes it so good. And it's whenever anybody. So, like, if anybody else is running any sack effects, you benefit from it because you just get huge. I got crushed by Approach deck with this deck, but at least whenever he was sacrificing stuff, Mazirek would get bigger too, which is really interesting because Mazirek also has flying, so he makes for a good Prosh blocker. Not that Prosh decks are ridiculously common, but they are on the more common side. I might play the Necromancer and just sack it to the pod. Actually, I guess if I want full value, I should probably play the Necromancer, sack it, get the Elvish Visionary, or I could get the Slum Reaper and save it. So maybe I'll just Bellower next turn and figure it out from there. I don't know. I guess I might as well play the Necromancer next turn. I can't sack it. I can't use its ability to sack, I should say, on the turn I play it, obviously, because it doesn't have haste, so. Slitherblade. That's not a pirate. Oh, was I right about this guy not always running pirates? I feel like he's probably running some pirates and then a whole lot of unblockable creatures. And then he's running Conspiracy, Xenograph, and Arcane Adaptation to turn his unblockables into pirates. Surprised these guys have so many cards in hand and so little to play. If we Bellower, we could grab a Rex Sage and blow up this Propaganda. Or the Bident. What else could we grab? We could grab an Eternal Witness and get either like Slum Reaper or Demonic Tutor out of our graveyard. We don't really need to use the Hour of Promise again because we have so much mana right now. Yeah, we could Eternal Witness and get the Demonic Tutor. That's okay. We can move the counters onto stuff. I'm wondering if I should split them evenly between the Saproling and Mazirek. The counters, I mean. Or does it only let me move them to a creature? We got a token at least. You may put that many on target creature. Okay. We don't really care about when the token enters this time because we're just gonna put them on Mazirek. Yes, we want to use Rayon's ability. Sorry, I could be pronouncing that name wrong, or you could just think I'm pronouncing it wrong. I wouldn't stress it. It could be Rayhan. I usually just call him Rayon. Could be Rihan, I guess. Rayon just sounds most can't talk. Sounds most satisfactory to me. Did he just mortars uh, my sapperling? Really? I'm kind of blown away by that. I guess I can sack all these lands now. There we go. Play the Necromancer. I want to play as much things before I sack stuff so that they all get the counters. I might sack the Sapperling and go get like a Birds of Paradise or something. Just because it's more counters for things. Can you guys just F8 or F6? Gonna counter it. Maybe he's actually thinking about countering this. That'd be hilarious. Apprentice Necromancer's not that scary. I mean, I guess like he's good with Rayon or Slum Reaper, I suppose, but can we F6 guy? Can we do that? Is that okay? I can't remember if I mentioned this in a video that I ended up deleting or actually posting, but somebody made a comment on one of my videos that was asking me if I would consider putting more like editing into my videos to cut out kind of boring moments, which I guess this would qualify as. And the hard thing about doing that is kind of like because I am talking, it can kind of awkwardly screw up the context of what I'm saying if I cut and paste stuff. And at the same time, I think my main argument for not spending that much time on editing right now is because my channel is fairly small. Don't get me wrong, I really appreciate all of you subscribers and all the views I have from all of you that aren't subscribers, but it's it's hard for me to rationalize spending a lot of time on editing uh, rather than like it's a quality or quantity approach. It's either spend a lot of time producing lots of videos or spend a lot of time producing a few really clean looking videos. And I think that the editing wouldn't make too much of a difference. Um, I could also face some kind of middle ground and it's just like just focus on cutting out parts like this. But I also just like to use these moments to talk usually. Okay, it resolved. That's great. Um, but yeah, that's the long and short of that. It's just that it's like it's I don't want to spend. I mean, this is on me as well as I'm a pretty busy person. Like I play rugby a lot during the year. I play for multiple teams, so I'm usually pretty busy in that regard. Oh, now we have to pass through everything. He's got a counter up, I'm sure. Always yes, always yield. But yeah, it's just I'm a full-time student as well, and I have a job on top of that, so I just don't have that much time. And this is like when I'm playing Magic and recording these videos, this is my free time. Like this is what I'm using my free time on because I was playing it anyway and I decided to just start making videos out of it. So I don't play a lot of Magic where I'm not actually recording it. Champion would be really good. But do we want to attack this guy? Maybe we act vengeantly and attack this guy. Champion's really good with the counters, so I'm not gonna grab a one drop because I can easily get that by sacking the Sapperling. We'll save the Eternal Witness for now. Uh, yeah, and I guess I'll sack this. Go get two. Should I get two forests? Oh yeah, I haven't actually yielded to the Mazirek thing. Oh, I guess I should have sacked the Sapperling first. That was dumb of me. Whatever. I'm just gonna grab two forests because we have lots of black mana. Yeah, come on. You got it. Just load, game. There we go. So I'll activate Pod here. I'll sack the... Should I attack first? Yeah, I guess I should. Ah, sorry, misplace. I'm just gonna sack this, and go get another. I'll get a swamp with this one. And then I'll attack because I don't want to sacrifice this before I attack. And then after I attack, I'll pod it and go get something else. Yeah, we'll grab a swamp just in case our Cabal coffers or something gets blown up. Now let's move to combat. We'll throw some damage around, I guess. I suppose I could have paid the propaganda and sacked the pod, so I could have hit this guy, but that would involve me paying life, and I don't want to do that right now. That's just me. Maybe I should put a Scute mob in here and cut out one of my mana dorks. I like the dorks, though. Dorks are good. Or maybe just cut something else and put a Scute mob in. For those that don't know, Scute mob's 1/1 green creature, insect for 1 green. And I think it's at the beginning of your upkeep. If you control 5 or more lands, it gets 4 +1/+1 counters. So it's a pretty good uh, 1-drop in a counter based deck that has green in it, obviously. Oh my goodness! And you guys just F6, F8. Like, I'm not saying my turns are short or anything like that, but I know this guy has a choice to block right now, but it's 3 damage. Just let it through. That's what I would think most players would do. Always. Huh. Huh. Can't believe it's only like turn 7. Okay, this guy's just committed, sorry, not committing, conceding. So yeah, that's how that goes. I'm pretty disappointed at that. Because it's kind of like, meh, this isn't going the way I want it to. And then you quit. Just to show everybody how mature you are in dealing with adversity. Sorry, that's my saltiness pouring through. I suppose I could sack the Bellower and go get something like real nasty. Do I do that instead? Then I could sack the Visionary next turn to, sorry, sack the Necromancer, get the Visionary, draw a card, pod the Visionary, for an Eternal Witness, get back the Bellower. I like that. Maybe I'll sack the Bellower then. Man, so I should have sacked pre-combat. Darn it! That's not necessarily a mistake, though, and I'm not going to call it a mistake because I hadn't decided yet. So deal with that. Viewer, audience that likes to criticize me, even gently. I am open to constructive criticism. Please leave your comments of criticism if you have them. Oh my goodness. Like, did he disconnect or what? Uh. Maybe it's me. Oh, my? No, okay. Let's check out some Rivals of Ixalan spoilers while we're looking. Waiting, rather, I should say. Fritzo disconnected. Oops. I don't know. Usually I give people a lot more time uh, for the eject, because I understand that everybody just has computer problems, but holy crap, it's taking a long time. Rivals of Ixalan spoilers. I think this time stream guy's kind of cool, but it's just nice to see. I think the Ascend mechanic's really cool. I love the new flip cards as well. I can't wait for the Immortal Sun as well, because that's just gonna make it into like pretty much every deck I play ever. I think, at least that's what I assume. It's just, I mean, it's really good. Unless you're running like a Super Friends deck, obviously. But it's kind of like, what's it, Staff of Nin? It lets you draw a card, uh, like an additional card every turn. But then it also gives you the bonus of like reducing all your spells cost and then pumping your creatures up as well. So, um, I was really excited to see Alendra at first, or sorry, Alenda. Uh, but then I realized that it's her token creation triggers on her death, so she sucks as a commander because that doesn't work. Okay, and we've lost that guy, and Fritzo has disconnected, so I'm just gonna call this video here. Thanks for watching, guys. Please leave a like if you liked it, dislike it if you dislike it, I guess. Leave a comment based on, I don't know, how you thought the game went or whatever. If you have any suggestions, if you have any decks or anything or any cards you'd like me to build a deck around, please let me know. Check out my channel if you want to see more videos, and subscribe if you want to see more videos in the future. Thanks for watching, guys.